Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Scott Franchini with me here today. From Deloitte and Microsoft to leading Red Hammer's construction tech revolution, my guest brings 25 plus years at the crossroads of business, technology, and transformation, helping companies build smarter, faster, and with greater financial clarity. Welcome to the show, Scott.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Tim.
All right. So you're Central Phoenix, kind of Arcadia area, is that right?
That's correct.
All right. So, and how long have you been with Red Hammer here in Phoenix?
Oh my gosh, it's going on 5 years.
Okay. And give us a snapshot of kind of what you do right now, and then we'll talk about how you're growing so well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Red Hammer is an outsourced accounting company for the construction industry. So we focus on small to medium-sized builders that are anywhere between $0 to $30 million in revenue. So your developers, your general contractors, your subcontractors. And what we do is provide outsourced services to them in lieu of being of them having to hire a full accounting staff. So Sometimes we're the entire accounting department. In other cases, we're coming in, and more often than not, we're supplementing the team with our team. So they may have a controller, or they may have maybe a lower level staff person, or maybe they have a spouse that doesn't want to do the accounting anymore, and see if we come in and can back them up. Beyond that, we can actually give them some more horsepower, get their financials on time, provide more clarity to them, and allow them to really excel to get bonding or working capital or so forth.
Right. So that was sort of the other part to that question in my mind is how big of a benefit do they see how quickly and how quickly, right? From bringing Red Hammer on, and does that really help them grow quicker? Is it both, not just taking off somebody's accounting responsibilities so their time is better spent elsewhere, but also just the increase efficiency or growth, I guess, and performance of the company?
Yeah, so one of the things that's really unique about us is we're not a fly-in, fly-out bookkeeper. There are a lot of bookkeeping companies out there. Like if you were to go hire somebody, say from Robert Half, they're going to plop somebody in there, and essentially they're going to say, okay, how do I do it? We don't do that. That's not our process. We always go through some level of an assessment of what the current state of the business is in. We are construction accounting experts. We know all the software with construction accounting that's associated with anything in the small and medium-sized businesses. And so we do an assessment of their software, their accounting, any other ancillary systems. And then what we're able to do is provide what we call an onboarding / implementation to not only take over the services, but to also help balance and bring everything up to speed. A lot of the clients that we go into are behind, whether it be prior taxes, or whether it be reconciliations, or maybe their balance sheet's a mess. And so we help rectify that, going through some level of remediation, get them up to speed to where then our maintenance team can come in and start to do things correctly. So they normally will see an immediate benefit because they have clean financials and they have clean baseline, and we're doing accrual accounting. So now they can start to look at their business instead of from a cash and staring at their bank account all the time, to really start to see things from month over month, year over year, and so forth.
Okay. So I was my impression is a lot of people will reach out once they have a fire and they need somebody to help put it out, and then you then you get into the fire prevention half after you help them right the ship, in a sense.
Yeah, and in some cases, we have to do two things. If we just went back and started to clean everything up and we ignored what was right in front of us, we would always be playing catch up. So oftentimes we have our two teams, our implementation team and our maintenance team, that are going in together, and our maintenance team is plugging the dam and our implementation team is repairing the dam. And so there's a lot of, and sometimes realizing benefits doesn't come right away, just because there's a lot of cleanup and time and patience that's involved. And, if they could do it themselves, they would do it themselves. And, so a lot of times there's maybe a little bit naivety to the value of what goes into getting it straight and getting it to the level that it needs to be.
Sure. Okay. And can you talk a little bit about, because you guys been around a while, you've been growing organically and getting referrals and stuff, but you've mixed things up a little bit and have been able to increase your growth quite a bit lately. Can you talk about that and how you're doing that?
Sure. So the company started in 2011 in Hawaii. So my business partner and I used to work at Deloitte together 20 years ago. And him and I kind of went down our different paths. I went into the world of technology, ended up owning a service integration business. And then we were chatting in 2020 about how he can expand his business. And I said, well, hey, I think Phoenix is a great place, lots of construction, and we could take it, stateside. And, from his perspective, is like, hey, I'm on an island. This is a lot more difficult to do than getting on a flight and going to another city, right? And so at that point in time when we launched here and we spent most of COVID, we actually talked about this before COVID, and then spent most of 2020 just gearing up for this launch here. And then in 2021, one of the first things we realized is, oh my gosh, the way that they gather business in Hawaii is 90% referral. It's a good old boy network. Everybody knows everybody. So, he had connections with the banks and the insurance companies, the CPAs, and myself, because I was doing a lot of traveling for my other business. I wasn't here locally in Phoenix. I knew people. I lived here for 30 years, but I didn't have that network of those same sort of people. And so we went out, started to build relationships with people, spent a lot of time just hitting the ground, and slowly and we're organically, building the business. And then it was around last year where I realized, I'm like, okay, this is a lot of work, because I feel referrals are great. They're amazing, but to grow a referral network takes a lot of energy, and we weren't growing at a fast enough rate through that organic growth. So I kind of flipped a script and I told my business partner, I said, hey, this is what we're going to do. I go, we need to change the way that we acquire our business. We're going to keep doing the referral stuff, but I want to flip it to where we have 90% inbound. I want to get between 20 to 30 great leads every month. And from those leads, I want to pick the customers that we want to work with, and we will stop selling ourselves on a low-cost solution, and we're going to sell ourselves on value, because we are valuable. We know the software, we know the industry, we're great at what we do. That's going to be our new marketing message. And I said, we're going to do that through thought leadership. We're throwing away Google Ads. We're not doing any of that crap anymore. It's, we're competing against all these big dogs, and frankly, there's almost zero value. We were spending, it wasn't a lot. We were spending $2,000 a month, but we were getting one quality lead a month. And so at that point in time, our shift went into straight thought leadership. It was like, okay, we know this stuff. We know the software. We know the application of it. We know the accounting business, the construction accounting. Let's get out there and just talk to people. Let's write about it. Let's produce and publish blogs and how-tos to let people experience it. And it was greatly successful. It was right at the beginning of a lot of the AI age. So we utilize AI to help us curate the content in the sense of like a ghostwriter is the way I put it. So it's our thoughts, our ideas, being built into it, not AI just regurgitating a bunch of stuff. And so with a combination of doing that, with not only launching our SEO, it also started to launch into the GEO, the generative side, and it's really just kind of helped promote us. So now, as a pure example, we're 90% inbound and we're 10% referral. So we're actually at that point now where we're getting those quality leads coming in. We're talking to people. We're able to choose and pick the clients that we want to work with, and it's been tremendous. So yeah. But it's a long road. It's a long road. Those are not easy things to do. You have to be extremely patient when marketing to realize the benefits of it.
Sure. That was sort of my follow-up question, was the challenges associated with doing that and the time involved and stuff to become a thought leader in that space, particularly in an industry that's probably not on Google looking at ads in the first place, right? So you have to go meet them where they're at, right?
Well, that's a great question. So, Yeah. So the realization of it, and I knew this going into it, that it was going to take us at least 90 to 120 days to
Hmm.
try to make any ground. And a lot of it's because Google innately doesn't trust anybody. And so you have to gather that trust, and you have to be
Hmm.
able to put good content out there. You have to be very careful in the way that you send stuff out via email. If you start to blast people, you get blacklisted, you blacklist your URL. There's a lot of strategy and science to it that people don't realize. It's not just putting it together a pretty Canva and writing good words. There's a lot
Right.
of strategy behind, those marketing efforts. And
The
I think we
implementation.
we 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 thought about that. I think the other thing I thought was really, really important for us, and I think this was a big differentiator, is I realized really early on that my competition was not accounting companies. It was the software companies that we were working with. So if you went out there and started to Google construction accounting, you'd get the Sages, you get the Intuits, you get the Viewpoints. And so what I
Right.
realized at that point is like, well, okay, I can't spend my way through this. But what I can do is I can talk about those software companies, and I can put them head to head, and I can talk about the benefits of this in construction, or I can say, hey, this is not a good one for this reason. And so since we started doing that, that divide gave helped us become that trusted advisor, which helped
Okay.
us actually elevate the brand by with those software additions. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any affiliate relationships with your favorite software?
So 80% of our clients are on Intuit, an Intuit platform. So
Okay.
they did launch a brand new software called IES, which is their new AI platform, which is essentially QuickBooks Online on steroids. I would say what do we have? I think 4 clients on that now. The rest are split between QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, with the goal of getting them transitioned over. So handful of months ago, it was actually probably around July, I started knocking on the door at Intuit, because I'm like, hey, you guys you're moving up in the construction space. 80% of our clients are using your software. You need to do things different. I have lots of ideas. Listen to me. And then I started to see IES come out. I started to see them add some of the additional construction functionality to it, and I just
Okay.
kept pounding on the door. And I finally was able to get a hold of a VP who actually runs our customer success program. It's actually the name of the program is called Lighthouse. His name's Ashraf Gayed, and he invited me into this Lighthouse program, which consists of customers and firms like ours to help be influencers for the product. So we had the
Okay.
ability to go in and see under the hood. We
Right.
get to influence the future of it and to help provide feedback. So since that time, which is right around September, I've spent a day out in Mountain View. They invited me to the conference recently where I spoke at to talk about what we call the software gap, which is a whole other topic. And since then, I've also met with probably 20 different VPs and executives about the future of the product and what some of the things that they can do to improve it, to keep those folks in the construction companies within their ecosystem.
Okay. Okay. Is that some of the bigger challenges of that industry, or just companies in general, where they don't want to get spread out over different software?
So you're a business owner, so this is the reality is companies that start on QuickBooks reach a certain point, specifically construction. We start to see it around the $5 to $7 million mark, and they think that they need to move up to the next software because it's a little bit of ego. There's functionality that they're chasing, and what ends up happening though is QuickBooks has a lot of amazing things. It has usability, flexibility, great visibility, and what happens is they start to jump into this small to medium business construction software, and it's like going 10, 20 years back. So they gain a lot of job cost functionality, but they lose all the technology.
Hmm.
So, anybody uses QuickBooks with bank feeds, and the ease to do transactions is really simple, and when you're in one of these other systems, if you code something wrong, you're having to back it all the way out, and then you're having to go and put it all the way back in. And so you just lose a ton of efficiency. And so ultimately that gap is a real problem. And so what IES does with this new enterprise suite is it seals that gap because now I get the additional functionality and I get the technology. We're also big proponents of third-party partnerships or third-party accounting software systems that bolt onto QuickBooks. There's
Oh,
some construction management, AP automation. We work
hmm.
with another payroll company. So what we also do is help companies build their tech stack so that they can maximize QuickBooks for its value and also bridge the gap on any of its deficiencies.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. So what are the big goals for 2026 for Red Hammer?
We need a double. So right now we're growing extremely fast. And honestly, the hardest part of growing isn't our sales. It's getting the right people in place. I've always said our success will come by us focusing on us being a first-class human resources organization. So
Hmm.
we have 50 people in the Philippines and we have another 25 US. So we have to kind of grow those things together. We're in I don't call it a challenge. I call it an opportunity where, our length of hire to when people are comfortable is a pretty decent amount of time. Right now, it's probably anywhere between 90 to 120 days, meaning we find them, we hire them, we go through onboarding, which requires Red Hammer onboarding, requires understanding the software. It's potentially construction accounting, and then they have to go and understand each of their clients. So you can
Right.
imagine what that looks like for somebody coming on new, and we don't want to just give them a fire hose, but be very meticulous and careful about the way we do it. And so we spend a lot of time. And so if you think about, hey, I have to go out there and hire another 20 people, that's a lot of work to do.
Mm.
And
Yes.
we've actually found a lot of success in hiring in groups. I think when you hire in groups, you almost create the buddy system and you're kind of going through it together. I was in a fraternity, I was on a football team, baseball team. I know what
Right.
it's like to go through 2 days together, or go through, rush and all that and so forth. And I think there's some value in doing that. So we're
I think
trying to
so
be
too.
really
That's a
careful
good
about
point.
it from a cultural
Okay.
perspective. Yeah.
Mhm. Very cool. All right. A lot of great stuff you're doing. How do you balance all of that, running a business, right? And creating income for like outside your business, right? Planning for retirement, things like that.
Oh, it's difficult. I would say that prior to Red Hammer, it was easy just to kind of stack stuff away, But also, I was in a business that was I had contractors. I was doing a lot of IT work, and the value, similar to a general contractor that is just going out selling business and hiring a bunch of subcontractors, is that the value is in you, and
Hmm.
so you can't really sell you, and that business is worth really nothing. And so we try to some of the hard messaging we have with some of these guys is, you have to build leadership and build a company around it. And so moving into this, moving into Red Hammer is kind of shifted, where maybe I'm stacking stuff away previously. Now it's about how do I continue to reinvest in this business so that we can take it to the next level. And, at someday we want to potentially have an exit, but that's
Okay.
where the value of that's going to come in. So a lot of our planning is how do we just continue to reinvest in this to grow the value of the business, and we know where we stand. I mean, we're getting a lot of attention right now, a lot of good attention, and we're learning a
Nice.
lot from it. But we also know that we're a little bit different than kind of the standard, bookkeeping company. And we have a platform. We have a very industry focus. We're doing things that a lot of people can't do and have tried to do and failed at it. So, we
Great.
know that we know we have, we're just not the standard company that people would, go out and look and buy. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Uh, One of the secrets to success I've heard from a number of people is doing the things that other people, find too hard. Right? You go ahead and dive in and own it. Okay, in terms of an exit, I mean, that's tricky. You want to grow it up to scale yourself, like you said. You are the company when you're starting off. All of
Right.
your so you have to put in systems and hire people, right, and become more the visionary and or integrator and start replacing yourself, basically, right?
That's correct. No, that's 100% correct. It's funny you say integrator. EOS is one of the things that's on our plate for this next year. Pretty
Okay.
familiar with it. Both my business partner and I are in EO.
Okay.
entrepreneurs organization.
Nice.
He's in Hawaii. I'm out here in Arizona. So I've been around a lot of EOS, and we know it's a system, but we're also now in our own way building our leadership team. We just recently hired a new senior implementation manager, which is enormous for us. He's going to take a lot of the load off of onboarding both clients and staff. We
Okay.
know at some point in time we're going to need to hire a COO, because the problem is that both of us are still, while we're not 100% in the business from a client perspective, we're still in it enough that it's distracting. And so,
Right.
I know where I'm best suited is to focus on the technology side and the platform side, and to go through sales and grow through partner channels, and we're building those. And I think that is going to escalate our growth. But at the same time, we have to do what's proper on the operations side, to not just sustain it, but to do it in such a way that we don't get ahead of our skis. So.
Sure. Sure. That's part of the trick, isn't it? Balancing all that. Okay. So as we shift gears here, Scott, can you share something you've done this year that's changed your life?
Yeah. So I used to play guitar back in high school, and I loved it, enjoyed it, and I put it down and picked it up maybe 3 or 4 times over the years. And then, your fingers hurt, you put it away. And then, like COVID happened, and I pulled, guitar out of the closet, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick to this. I'm actually really bored, sick of watching TV. I've got some other stuff going on. And so I've been playing for a couple of years. And then this year I decided I wanted to join the School of Rock. So I was influenced by a couple other of my EO buddies. In fact, I got my daughter in it first, and she's an amazing singer, just unbelievable singer.
Oh, nice.
And watched her succeed through it, and I just fell in love with the program. I think what they do is an amazing good to kids and to
Right.
people out there, to give them the platform to go and
Oh, for sure.
to start off in a very remedial way, and then grow into, being comfortable and being yourself. And so I had to do it myself. So I joined. I think I'm 8 weeks into this. I'm in a band with there's like 14 of us, and it's kind of matrix on different songs. And I have a whole other group of friends now, and they're amazing. And so it's outside of just the music, it's the people side of it that I've really.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You find your tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. How's EO been? I had Scott Novus on the show a year ago. He used to be the head of Arizona, I think, and then I am also friends with Pete Schnepp and some other people.
Nice. Scott is a very close friend of mine. So
Oh, cool.
I've known Scott for close to 9 years. In fact, we used to be in an EO forum together. So yeah, he's a close friend of mine. I love EO. I think it's a platform to think different. It's obviously not for everybody. I think it's what you give is what you get. I think
Sure.
people sometimes go into it thinking it's a networking sort of platform, and then go and grow their business through meeting people, and that's not really it. You really go there to learn from other people and to learn from their experiences, and to
Right.
then apply that to your business. When you're in a forum, you're with different businesses, and which is a good thing, right? You're in different industries, they're doing different things, they're different sizes, and sometimes you get some of the greatest value at some of the small guys are doing. They're bootstrapping it, and they're doing things that they're their own developer, or especially
Sure.
now vibe coding and some of this other stuff. They really are. Versus like the big guys, which are great to understand. How do I approach things from a training perspective, or sales
Mhm.
optimization? I'm going to hire a sales team. So there's such a variety of different things. Not to mention just the support you get from everybody from a personal perspective. And it's we've seen tragedies, we've seen births and marriages and divorces. It's crazy, and it's a just to be there for people. It's a great
Right.
community, and it's I can't say enough
Okay.
about it.
Very cool. That's kind of, I had lunch with Scott early, maybe in the spring, and
Nice.
that was one of the things he mentioned was that the therapeutic aspect of it, because it's lonely as an entrepreneur, right? And you have people to connect with and to bond with, and through all those challenges,
Yeah, it's amazing.
and jam with, apparently.
Yeah. And yeah, Scott actually was just in my office last week. We were having a deep dive on Anthropic, the Claude code, and we were doing a bunch of just crazy AI stuff. And it's we're both kind of tech nerds, and
Right.
so we've been ahead of it for some time, and we're just trying to figure out how to maximize it for our businesses and stay as far ahead of the curve as possible on it. So
Right. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Um, I'm going to skip over the legacy plan stuff on this one, but I do want to ask you about uh, s- uh, sort of what do you wish you knew sooner about building wealth and success earlier in your career?
I think I wish I would have, and everybody says this is like, hey, I wish I would have just put more away earlier on, just because the
Sure.
natural sense just the way things grow, right? It's just the nature
Yeah.
of it. So I think if I had to go back and sit there and say, okay, starting at my first job, I'm always going to put X away,
Okay.
and kind of ride that out. I think that's the best advice you can absolutely give anybody.
Well,
Um,
how
yeah.
do you get your younger self to take that advice? Maybe it might be that the second half of that.
I think this is, one of the things we did for our kids, early on is we built like 529 plans for them. So,
Mhm.
to help them pay for college or help us pay for college. But I think starting that at an early age where you're able to, gift your children and let them get a feel for it, whether it be Roth or some other, investment vehicle. But if they see that and they do it and they start to see the benefits of it and they know that that's there, I think that is super, super powerful. I had friends whose parents gave them, money after college, and this is how they wanted where they wanted to put it. We're not going to give you cash. We're going to give you this investment. And I think just seeing it, I think that would be the one thing I tell myself is just do it, watch it, and it's addicting in that sense, right? So, but
Okay, right, right. But
yeah,
the power of compounding growth and stuff is
yes,
time, and that's when
it's
you're young.
time.
You just time is some whatever. That's something I'll worry about later, right? Mindset. So it's
Well,
hard to impart that in my experience.
no, and it's true. And we see it these days. So, we've a good examples, for our Philippines folks, we've tried to do different things that are more long term. Hey, we'll do this for you or that. It's all about the salary. They want the it's that feel good. We see it in
No.
construction. We see
Yep.
construction companies that will go out there. They will provide healthcare. They will provide 401k accessibility to their construction employees, and 90% of them will not take it because they want the cash in the bank. And so the reality is that people tend to be a little bit more short-sighted, and there's obviously various reasons why. I mean, maybe they have to be, but if you start to look at it, even if you're taking 1%, that 1% still compounding is still growing. It's better than nothing, and you likely, and they don't really understand the tax benefits
Mhm.
of it either, especially if it's 401k. It's like, hey, I'm contributing to this, but there's the tax benefit of it, so it's not quite as bad as you think. So I think it's a lot of
Right.
education. I mean, I'm a firm believer that, and I've always felt this way, that there should be high school and college classes that are mandatory around personal finance. And I don't know why it doesn't exist in our education system to
Right.
this day. I just don't
Yep.
understand it.
Yeah. That's a big part of sort of the training that I'm trying to develop now. Just, I mean, even though like I have a kid in college and one's in high school still, is just trying to impart those lessons that I thought I had
Mhm.
taught them, but I didn't. Right. Okay, great stuff, Scott. So if people like to connect with you or learn more about what you're doing, Red Hammer or anything, where should they go? What can they do?
Yeah, our website is redhammer.io. And then you can find me on LinkedIn. It's just Scott Franchini is the hash on it. So yeah, I'm easy to find. I'm out there blogging and talking, and so yeah, it's quite easy to find me.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Thank you, Scott Franchini, for joining me today and sharing your insights and doing business in Phoenix. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Inspired by our guests? Visit PhoenixProsperityPodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.